Hey everybody, Marky here from John 1911, and this is going to be episode, I guess it's 26 of our Armory chat series, and going to knock this one out real quick. Posted an article yesterday on our blog page about some of the deprivation we have to do with air guns, and got a lot of private messages, people asking about the air guns. You know, I guess it's just like this secret. No one wants to admit that they have air guns. I mean, I guess you can't be a Night Elf, Tactical Mohawk Ninja, Delta Force, you know, Navy SEAL, whatever guy if you've got air guns. And, you know, the first gun I ever had as a kid was a freaking air gun. And I'll show that in a minute. But here's, well, just about to bump the table. This is the gun that was in the article yesterday. Nothing fan. Look, I mean, I know there's all kinds of people out there with all these fancy guns, and I'm not a fancy air gun guy. I really only shoot them once a year, basically every spring. But what had happened was, let me back up here a little bit. What had happened was we had had a request down here in the Armory to to handle some animal deprivation that you know was going on around here, and they just figured, well, yeah, you would be able to do that. So, well, the problem is you don't want to be even a 22 long rifle, I don't want to shoot that at a building. And some of the stuff we have to actually get, the deprivation takes place in and around occupied buildings. So I was like, holy crap. I had to run out to the local sports store and buy an air gun. So this is a GAMO. It's a I guess they call, I don't even know what they call this. I guess it's a brake barrel, single pump, 177. It uses pellets. It doesn't use the BB guns, and it's a pretty cool gun. The eye relief is probably just a little too long. I probably have to adjust this. It did come with it came with a fiber, as I recall, a fiber optic sight and a scope, and I think you do one or the other, the both. And for some reason, I didn't put the quote irons on it, and I'm gonna look around the Armory, see if I can find them. I don't recall why. They may have been so tall that they may have obstructed the view of the scope, but you know, got it for the, you know, really got this to, you know, deal with, you know, the scope. The scope. This is pretty short range. It's got a simple duplex reticle. You know, it's a neat gun. Yeah, it's got scope covers. The front one screws on, and the rear one, I can't even get this. This is what you get when you don't practice stuff before you go live. So this is a model 640 carbine. So we actually, you know, this is the only air gun that's modern air gun that's in the Armory. Now the reason why I had to buy this is because I had made reference to the first gun I ever owned as a kid, and it acts just like the movie. It's a Red Ryder BB gun, except mine didn't have a compass in the stock. And I'll tell you, when that movie came out, I actually felt like I was shorted, because I remember, you know, watching that movie being like, mine didn't have a compass in the stock. I don't understand. So I think after the movie came out, they started putting them back in the stock. This shoots the regular standard BBs. I got this, I had to do the math. I got this when I was about 8, and I got this in the 70s. I got this before Ronald Reagan was president, and it has literally been to hell and back. It used to have an adjustment, like a step that you could put under the buckhorn sight to raise and lower for your offset, but I'd lost that as a kid. So basically I'm doing functionally point blank shooting and do holdovers, which turned out later in life served me very, very well. You load it, this one loads with a gate, it opens up in the front. You pour the BBs in. This thing, I don't know how many BBs this thing's hold, but this thing holds probably, 100, I don't know, 200, 75, I don't know, but you fill this thing up. You fill up this entire it's a tube around the, I guess, a barrel sleeve. And what's interesting, because I hadn't looked at this in a while, I had, you can see, like, we would, as a kid, we would go to junkyards, and if we would go to a junkyard with our BB guns, and if there was a piece of glass anywhere that we could see that glass was done. And what had happened was, there was a car, and I had, I was maybe 10, I practiced smashing the windows out on cars with my gun like they would do in the movies to catch the bad guys, and I ended up splitting the end of my stock. So that's where that came from. So I don't know if that was foreshadowing of my future gun career as far as using stuff and abusing it. And actually, I'd even forgotten this. This is a little bit of like the self-rescue and being like a 1911 guy. If you are an aficionado of these guns, you will notice that screw is not factory, and that bolt right there is not factory. At some point, using the gun so much, you know, people realize that guns vibrate, even if they're air guns, and the stuff slowly starts to work its way apart. And as a kid, I don't know if I had lost the bolt. I think I had lost the bolt, but I still had the screw, but I didn't have a replacement bolt that would fit on this screw. So we found a screw and a bolt that would work, and so we screwed it in, and you can even see I screwed it in so tight that it even compressed the I guess the rear receiver or frame. Or this gun's a wreck. And I even remember like the lock here for the lever, that we had to, I would use this so much, I would wear out that spring tension. We'd have to rebend that back in. And yeah, this gun, I mean, this gun basically made my gun career. I was obsessed with guns as a little kid, and those of you who didn't read the article, we were visiting Grandma back on the East Coast, and my dad and I went to, it was Easter, my dad and I went to some local little department store. I wasn't a national chain, and I always would run off to the gun section, and he drugged me out of the firearms area and took me over to where they had the BB guns. And I remember him buying this, and we brought it home, and we surprised Mom and Grandma that I had a BB gun. This fortunately was well before that movie, you know, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid movie, whatever that movie, you know, Electric Sex in the Window, whatever that, A Christmas Story. So I didn't have the whole mantra of You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid. But this gun started it all. You're probably asking, why don't we do any animal deprivation with this? This thing doesn't have any power. I mean, it would, not for like the buildings and the stuff we have around here. It's just, you know, it doesn't have the power. I was looking at it to get ready for this video, and it actually says on it, it was a, let me see here, I guess it's a model 1935, let's see what that says, 1935B. So that would basically maybe 1930, I mean, I don't know what a 1935A or but I will say this, when I was growing up, my two best friends, they had BB guns, and they were pretty similar to this, except theirs had belonged to their grandfather. So this is in the 70s, and we had their grandpa's BB guns before I had my own BB gun. And they didn't have a gate that opened like a plastic gate. Theirs, it was a twist top, and I can't remember how the gate, but I remember you turn the crown of the turn the crown on the barrel, and that was basically how you loaded it. And I suspect, now that I'm older, a little bit wiser, that those BB guns that I initially played with were probably made in the 20s or maybe the teens. I mean, it was, but they were Red Ryder guns, I'm pretty sure. So a bunch of you old guys were were hitting me up wanting to know about BB guns, so this is what we do with them. And the Red Ryder BB gun is my original gun. I literally in the, through the gate on the property, into the buildings, into the armory, into a safe in the armory, the very, very back of a safe. I had to dig this thing out. This is what we use for animal deprivation for the I don't even want to say what, because I don't want to get into it. You never know, but we use this basically every spring, and when the people go home after the end of the workday, we sneak around, usually after 7 to dusk, and we identify the offending animals and identify them individually, and then we deal with them individually. So this gun, I think, has been in the armory for at least 5 years, maybe 7, and the original case of ammo, and the rate that we use this ammo, this thing will probably outlive me. I mean, it would take this could be 20 or 30 years of pellets. So anyway, that's really pretty much all I wanted to do. I wanted to show some of the air guns on a video so people could see them, especially see my original one. It gave me an excuse to break it out and look at it. It's kind of cool. Maybe with Freeze's grandkids, maybe maybe they'll want to play with it, or maybe they'll think Marky's old gun is a piece of crap and they don't care. So anyway, this wraps up episode 26 of the John 1911 Armory Chat. Everybody, thank you for your time and have a good day.